Hello and welcome to the Not All There podcast. I am your host, Chad. Today, you get me and me alone. Me and my thoughts and my words. And we're going to see how this goes. You, the listener, the one that I have, thank you for listening. I feel like you've gotten to know the people that I'm talking with. And I feel real good about how this is organically taking form in these conversations that we're having. And I think good things are happening, and I'm really happy and proud of that. And the emotions that are coming with that are new to me, and keeping my shit together while feeling emotions of joy. That's entirely new for me, and I'm going to speak on that. I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback from people about this, and that's very, it's amazing. It's flattering, and flabbergasted is how I feel right now, because I have always had a victim mentality, right? Always had kind of a negative outlook on things. Didn't hold myself in very high esteem. A lot of low self-confidence and insecurities. And when I started drinking at the age of 18, those seemed to kind of go away. And wasn't until later that they kind of, I don't know, mutated and formed into different versions of old emotions. And that created the drunkard Chad. Now, this is my experience. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about my experiences, what I've learned about myself. Because for me, I am the type of person that I like to hear about the gory stuff, right? That really, it's more relatable to me. And that's a lot of the driving influence for this project that I'm doing, is to, present kind of I always keep using the word unvarnished, the unvarnished look at addiction and what that truly looks like. And hopefully through these conversations and words, I can express what that might actually look like. And for someone like me, that type of information really is helpful because it doesn't make me feel alone. When I started hearing these stories from other people, whether I was in a church basement and somebody was telling a story, or just through the people that I've met in recovery, just them sharing experiences, I started to feel, accepted, that I wasn't different, that I wasn't fucked up in the head. Well, we're all a little fucked up, man. So some more than others, but that I wasn't an anomaly, right? I felt very alone. I felt like an outsider. I felt like I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in my own skin. And the booze just kept, it was almost like moonshine on a fire, man. The flames were just burning up inside of me, and it was painful. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't know who I was, right? Inside, I felt that the person that I was representing myself to be was not truly who I was inside. And, to that, I made notes today, but am I going to use them? I doubt it. But there was something that was shared with me today, that was passed along from a friend of a friend. And I'm going to read this. It really, let's read it and then we'll talk about it. Okay. The saying is you can't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. You can't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. And that really was like a tuning fork that went off inside my body and my soul. My palms got sweaty because, you know, like the job of recovery, and back to these goddamn cliches that are used all the time. It's an inside job. What that means is that you got to take care of you, your soul, your insides, right? What I mean is embrace your emotions, embrace who you are. How someone on the outside presents himself, that doesn't necessarily represent who they truly are, right? And I think more now than ever, our society really has this false perception of what a person's true identity is because, lots of people, and we're all guilty of it. Maybe we're all guilty. Hell, I'm guilty of it. Is you put something out there on social media that may not entirely represent who you are, right? Because why? Because maybe you'll get some likes and maybe you'll get a couple responses, comments from people like, oh, you look great. Oh, you look so happy. But that maybe you're not really as happy as you're representing yourself to be. Okay. And you look at someone that you know or someone that you admire, and you see this way that they represent themselves, this appearance. And maybe you feel, I don't know, shame, insecure, down, because it's probably not how they really are, right? They could be miserable inside, but they want to project themselves as being something successful and happy, and they could be just as lost as anyone, but they don't look like it. All right. So if you're feeling poorly about yourself inside, and you see somebody that has this appearance to be happy, and hopefully they are, man. All anyone wants is to be happy, and that feel makes you look at them and you're like, that fucker's happy and I'm just bleh. And well, you know what? Fuck you and fuck that for thinking that way, because that doesn't make you who you are, how you represent yourself on the outside. It can be a result of the work that you do on yourself inside, on the emotions. And, for me, and look, I have been sober for 9 years. Okay. And, this is still something that I struggle with, on a just continuous basis. Okay. Is the value of self-worth, liking myself. All right. That's been a very difficult thing for me in my life is liking and respecting and loving, me for who I am. Okay. And for most of my life, childhood, adult life, most of my 49 years living and breathing on the planet Earth, I have lived my life to, try to fit into roles that weren't necessarily me at all. What's the saying? A square peg in a round hole. That was me. And it wasn't until really, really, really like super recent that I just stopped giving a fuck. And Nancy's like, you know what? Just in certain things in your life, like you just have no more fucks left to give. She's like, because the few that you have left, those are valuable. Those are worth something, right? You hold on to those fucks. And if the situation doesn't, require you to give a fuck, don't give a fuck. A little crass, but kind of to the point. And it is it's a relief, I guess, for me to acknowledge who I am, to accept that these events in my life that happened that really had a pretty traumatic effect on me. Those happened. Can't take them back. Can't go back in time and fix it. And, you know, it took me a really, really long time to acknowledge that, to get to that point. You know, I was angry. I blamed those events and certain people involved in other events in my life. I blamed them for my challenges and my, reason and need to drink or use drugs. You know, if you went through what I went through, you'd fucking drink too. Okay, well, yeah, maybe. All right, I get it. But it sucks that it happened, and it's sad that it happened. But you're here and you're okay, right? It took me so long to get to that. Lots of therapy, nervous breakdown, over analyzing the shit out of myself. There's so much information available to us nowadays that if you wanted to take a deep dive on mental illness, PTSD, childhood traumas, my God, you can put these pieces of a puzzle together that just, you're like, bam, that's me. And meanwhile, the people around you are like, are you okay? Like, fucking knock it off, man. Like, I am sorry. I love you, but you are not doing yourself or any of us any good by diving into this stuff. And still, you're being the victim. I'm like, I'm not being the victim. I'm trying to figure myself out. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're still, hitching your wagon to those past events. Okay. And, that was like the baseline for my emotions. And the one that fueled the emotion engine was fear. Fear was the one that directed everything in my life. And it, like, for example, I had a phone conversation with a really good friend of mine today, family friend. And this person said some really very nice, kind, meaningful things to me today. And I got this pang in my stomach, and I could feel this uncomfortable wave of just anger going through me. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This person is giving you a very, very sincere and nice compliment. What this person is saying is something that you have been searching for anyone to say for as long as you can remember, and you're going to get angry about it. Yeah, I am. Why? Because I'm afraid to let myself feel whatever that would feel like for someone to say something so sincere and heartfelt and kind about me, or you if you're listening to it. But I was able to catch myself, and I was able to push that to the side, or just, tell it to fuck off. That was one of the fucks that I had to give today. I didn't, do that. And I allowed myself to somehow feel happiness, maybe. And it's weird. It's really strange. And then I come down to my basement, and I'm like, I got to talk about this into a microphone, staring at nobody. Well, there's Tom Cruise over there, Maverick, giving me the thumbs up. In the Overlook Hotel over there. But anyway, I'm in I'm in like a WhatsApp thread with a bunch of friends, a bunch of sober friends, and that's been huge for me. And again, I'd like to keep putting this out there that there are many, 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 many ways to get sober. All right. I happen to I started off in AA and used a 12-step program to get sober. That's not for everybody. It could be, it seems a little weird. You know, we refer to it as the program. But you know what? It fucking worked for me. And I was so desperate, I would have done anything. All right. Just about anything. And it worked. But the thing, since that got me kind of on my feet and to get grounded, the thing that has kept me sober is the communication with the other people that are like me, the other drunks, the other addicts. We can talk about what we're feeling and how wacky it seems. Like this morning, I just sent out a little thing and I was like, you know, everything in my life is going in a positive direction, you know, and I think these feelings that I'm feeling are what one might call happiness. But why am I so fucking cranky and grumpy and angry about it? You know, it's because I am not used to those feelings. And I act that way. I act out that way. But, I didn't this morning because I caught myself and I called it. And I reached out to somebody and said, hey, like, this is the shit that's going on in my head right now. And that helps. And I feel like wholeheartedly that no matter what technique or whatever you use to get yourself to stop drinking, admit that you got a problem and it's a bit out of control and you don't have any control over it, right? Whatever it is, keeping in touch with people who are, working a sober life together, that's going to keep you on the beam, as we say. And, there's a few people in my life right now that are relatively new to being sober, and they're dealing with their emotional outburst, I guess, not knowing what the fuck to do with what they're feeling. Like the booze has gone away, the drugs have gone away, the obsession to the craving and obsession and all that shit that drives us to do some of the sneaky, crappy bullshit that we did, that seems to be going away. So you take that away, but you're still the same asshole as you were when you were drinking. There's just no booze in you. There's no drugs in you, but you're there. And what the fuck am I? And what do I do with this? And man, that really is, that can be tough for some people. I have known a few people that couldn't work that out, that couldn't figure that out, and they just couldn't take the pain, I guess, the shame, the guilt, the self-loathing, because of they didn't know who they were. They reflected back on actions, choices made while they were, under the influence. I mean, we have to accept responsibility for these choices and these actions. We can't blame, past history or what have you, right? Just because you're loaded and you do something harmful to you or to someone else that hurts them physically, emotionally, whatever. It hurts them and harms them. It affects them, traumatizes them. You have to own that. You did it. Okay. Just because you're getting sober now, just because you're working on getting sober, on quitting whatever it is and cleaning up your act and cleaning up your side of the street, you got to own it. And there are consequences, and if those consequences are negative towards you, well, you know what? You did do it, but you don't have to do it again. All right. We can all plead like I did. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to do that. Well, like, no shit. I know you didn't mean to do it. It's not like you're, an evil person, but you fucking did it and it hurt. You hurt me by doing that. And, you got to own it and you got to work through it. And that gets us back to the emotions. I recently patched things up with my parents, which I didn't think was ever going to happen. We've been estranged, well, up until just a few days ago, for about around 4 years. And I was hurt and I was angry and I was heartbroken and I thought of him a lot and I missed him. But man, our relationship was just a mess. And I had to separate myself from that relationship, relationships. I had the unit of parents, the two of them, that relationship, and then the individual relationship that I had with each of them separately. They're still married. And I really didn't think I was ever going to get here. And it took a lot of honesty on my part with myself. It took a lot of self-reflection. Most of all, though, it took a lot of forgiveness, forgiving myself and loving myself. And also realizing that the feelings that I'm having, right, those are valid and those are real and those are my feelings and it's okay to have them. And in sobriety, even in early sobriety, there might be relationships that unfortunately you have to sever because those relationships aren't good for you. They could be in the future, right? Sometimes space does good. I mean, and I did not think that I would get to this point with my parents. I tell you what, I am fucking relieved. And because I missed them. I mean, look, I was really angry with them and disappointed with them for a long time. But I loved them. I never stopped loving them. And I missed them. And I was heartbroken. But I had to have the space to sort my shit out. And I think it worked for them too. Right? So now we're kind of on this weird new level. Weird, I guess, because I didn't really see this happening. And having this emotional confidence now to express to them and frankly to others about what I need, what I don't need, what works, what doesn't work, and this is all emotionally, and being confident in that. Now, I'm not going to be 100% confident. We're right about 75-25 right now. I don't know, maybe 70-30. But that's good, man. That's a lot better than it used to be. But I've noticed a change in myself over just like whatever it's been, 72 hours. And I don't know. I just feel peace. I think that's what it is. I'm finally feeling some peace towards, my family and the wild life that it's been for all of us up until this point. And I don't know if you listening to this relate to that at all. Maybe you do. I think you do. I hope you find it with whatever it is that's bugging you, whether it's a personal, professional, whether you're a Bears fan. We got to make peace every goddamn year. But I am going to hold on to this bit of peace and see what that does to me over the next few days. And what I mean by that is how I evolve from it. The emotions kind of create the being that we become, right? That we allow ourselves to become. And we can shape that through our emotions. We can let other people shape our emotions to create this being that may not be, truthful, meaning it may not be who you are wired to be, and oh man, I think about my extended family, my immediate, my family of origin. And then I think about my extended family on each side, my mom's side, my dad's side, and then the generations before them, and so on. And there's been a lot of bad shit, a lot of hard times, a lot of traumatic, shitty, awful things that have happened. And it just has kept going generation after generation after generation. And I got to a point where I was like, I can't let this get passed on to my kids. Now, some of it will, some of it's going to get through. Probably already did, right? But the awareness that I have toward it, hopefully will work or help, my kids work out certain things in their life. Maybe I can give them some, I hate the word, but a tool or two to help them navigate things that they feel or experience. And then I thought, with this podcast project, whatever this becomes, at least there's going to be some record of what I'm doing here for people to listen to, even if it is my family. And I've kind of made this vow to myself that, all of that stuff that happened for generations back in my family, it's all in me, whether it was like, in the presence handed to me through, events, or, honestly, this shit gets like built into your DNA, man, or if it was just passed to me that way. And I want to take all of that, as much of it as I can harness, and use that to help people. But even if it's just like one person, man, I think I've mentioned this before, but a friend of mine mentioned something to me, told me something. Now, I forgive me, it is from I believe a Hebrew text, not the Torah, but I'm blanking on what it is, so forgive me. But the saying is, "Save a life, save a world," and that's true. If you're able to help a friend, right? You're not only helping them, but you're helping those around them. If they have a family, that world, you help that world, right? And I want us to all work toward that and realize that, so much stuff happening, so much stuff, so much noise, that the goodness to other people gets lost in the shuffle. And, it's what it's supposed to be about. But we're selfish. And we tend to forget about others. Or we tend to get emotional, jealous towards others. And that can affect those relationships. If you haven't noticed, my voice is a little, it's something tonight. I've been battling a cold. So, all right. I got to head off. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you take care of yourself. Be kind and loving to others and to yourself, okay? You're doing good work. Love yourself, man. Forgive yourself. Give yourself a big old hug. Happy holidays. If I don't talk to you, Happy New Year. Take care.